Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I bid to our respective lecturer, Miss BADARIAH MOHAMED. My name is Rabiatul Najwa binti Nasai and my other group mate is Nur Syafiqah Akmal binti Azani from PISMP, TESL SJKC, Semester 1, Year 1. So to complete our assignment for TSLB3193 MULTILITERACIES, we will be presenting our findings on an issue faced by teachers in 21st century learning, in 21st century classroom, which is the challenges of teachers in the digital era.
My name is Nur Syafiqah Akmal binti Azani. Okay, before we go further about what are the challenges that teachers face in digital era, I would like to explain about the definition of 21st century classroom first. Okay, I am sure that we have all heard the term before and many of us even use it regularly. So, as we move further into the new millennium, it becomes clear that traditional classroom does not longer satisfy the needs of education in the 21st century. A 21st century classroom or education is not just a bunch of students sitting quietly at desks, in neat rows, writing down every word that the teacher says or writes on the whiteboard. Instead, a 21st century classroom incorporates modern technology into lessons to enhance students' learning and prepare them for a future in our tech-driven world. Okay, so the focus of the 21st century classroom is on students to experience the environment that they will enter as 21st century workers. The collaborative project-based curriculum used in this classroom, which is 21st century classroom, will develop their higher order thinking skills, effective communication skills, and knowledge of technology that students will need in the 21st century workplace in their future. Okay, some of the most important signs of a 21st century classroom are collaboration, which is working in group is an important component of many jobs in today's economy, and it is important that students are able to collaborate effectively. Okay, next, hands-on lesson. Which is immersive lessons are key to the modern classroom, not just for science classes but for all types of lesson, and integrate technology, which is a 21st century classroom not only teach students on how to use modern technology but integrates it into lesson so the students can really master it. Okay, so referring to my last point, it is no surprise that technology integration is a key aspect of modern classroom design. However, teachers and students are leveraging 21st century classroom designs that utilize these upgrades in new and different ways. Okay, this classroom use technology as a tool to stimulate curiosity and inspire students to learn. Technology, whether it is laptops, tablets, or mobile device, puts information at students' fingertips and motivates them to research and make discoveries. In addition, technology integration supports inclusive classroom, as it allows students to move at their own pace, whether they are looking for opportunities for enrichment or need help to catch up. So it is clear that a digital approach can improve content and learning because it will help students to develop their knowledge that is deeper and connects what is learned in the classroom to the world beyond it. And digital tools that combine original artwork with text, images, and voice recording will give students ownership in how they demonstrate their understanding and communicate their ideas. However, there are lots of challenges faced by teachers in this digital era.
Alright, so just now Syafiqah Akmal has given a brief introduction of 21st century learning and what is it that we call digital era. So the information that we are about to present is to answer the task question, whereas the question demands an issue faced by teachers in 21st century classroom. As we know, in the 21st century classroom, teachers are facilitators of students' learning and the creators of productive classroom environment. So the teachers need or must embrace new teaching strategies that are radically different, and they must engage their students in learning and provide effective instruction using a variety of methods as well as technology. So when we say 21st century learning now, it will be linked straight away, it will be associated straight away to the use of technology, or we call digital era. I am sure that the teachers have no problems with the traditional method of teaching and learning, but now with the invention of technology and the current situation of COVID-19 pandemic, teachers have to force themselves to explore the digital era so that they can continually adapt to their roles and responsibilities as educators. So now we will be explaining about the issue faced by 21st century classroom, which is teachers' challenges in facing the digital era. This is the main point of our discussion and presentation for today. Okay, the characteristic of the 21st century classroom is very different from those in the classroom of the past, because the focus is on producing students who are highly productive, effective communicators, inventive thinkers, and masters of technology. But the problem is not all teachers are tech savvy. Most of them are from the older generation, and they have difficulties in handling the ICT, such as smartphones, laptops, computers, and internet. Most of the teachers are digital migrants. They are born after the 19th century, whereas the young learners or the young generation right now, we call them digital natives, who are born when the technological revolution came. This is why you can see that using technology comes easily to some of them. But in this case, yes, the students might be digital natives, comfortable with the immersed technology, but they still have to depend on their teachers to learn through digital means. So now, when we say teachers have to face the digital era, society demands a higher level of and different set of skills that school were never designed to teach. So according to Yuri, Mooney, and Goodwin 2016, their studies shows that most teachers lack of ICT training and knowledge. Only 0.39% of teachers that apply ICT in their teaching and learning in the classroom, which is quite low. Okay, teachers also facing trouble in handling the ICT in their classroom because the lack of knowledge, the lack of skills and competency due to the limited experience in online teaching, which means they never experienced the online teaching before. That's why they have a very limited knowledge. It is also associated with the fact that they are involved with very limited professional training. There are very limited professional training provided to the teachers. This is also one of the reasons why they cannot increase their technological skills, even if there are facilities provided in the school. So when there is lack of training, it means that there is shortage of the teachers who qualified to use the technology confidently. In this article, it is shown that 92% of post-primary teachers under 35 years using computers for preparation purposes, compared with the 68% of teachers over 45. So you see here, teachers who are not expert or consider themselves to have poor skills in using the ICT will feel anxious and do not have the confidence to use the technology in front of the class, in front of their students. They may have the perception that their students are more advanced than they do. So other than lack of professional training, skills and knowledge to use the ICT, some teachers are not confident to use ICT in their classroom due to the English being the prominent language associated with modern technology. Not all teachers, especially the older generation, are familiar with the ICT approach, and they lack of competency in English communication, and that seems to be a big barrier to them. Most of them don't really have much knowledge on how to use it and cannot even handle if there is any malfunction or viruses in the technology tools. So you see, if teachers are not provided effective professional development on the new technologies, they will not be capable of using it to its full potential. So to build teachers' knowledge to a sufficient level, boosting confidence in the process is a must. Boosting confidence in the process, training, support from the educational administrators is highly necessary.
Moving on, the next challenge that are faced by teachers in digital era is insufficient of ICT infrastructure. Information Communication Technology, or ICT, refers to technology that transmits, stores, creates, displays, shares, or exchange information by electronic means. As we all know, in this digital era, ICT use in the classroom is important for giving students opportunities to learn and apply the required 21st century skills. The availability of internet connectivity, in particular, provides the platform for a shift from the use of teacher-centered pedagogy, content-based learning, to learner-centered pedagogy, which is inquiry and project-based learning that is more interactive and activity-oriented. One of the problem of this is insufficient of gadgets and internet connection faced by students. We have to admit that it will be a challenge to teachers if their students have internet and gadgets problem, because the teachers cannot deliver the knowledge properly to all students. To make a 21st century classroom succeed, it must have students who are able to access the online learning environment. Lack of access, whether it be for academic or logistic reasons, will exclude otherwise eligible students from the course. This is a significant issue, especially for students who live in rural and lower socio-economic neighborhoods. Slow internet connection or limited access from homes in rural areas can contribute to students falling behind academically. Furthermore, speaking from an administrative point of view, if students cannot afford the technology the institution employs, they are can be said as lost as customers. Some users pay a fixed monthly rate for their internet connection, while others are charged for the time they spend online. So if the participants' time online is limited by the amount of internet access they can afford, then instruction and participation in the online classroom will not be equitable for all students in the course. In addition, students who could only get internet access at home on their cell phone struggle to utilize the resources available on the internet, whether due to slow connectivity or caps on data use from local service providers. So it is wrong for all of us to assume that since most have a smartphone, students have sufficient access, because it turns out that those who have only cell phone access perform as poorly as those who have no internet access at all. In school, lack of ICT infrastructures also happens. This is because there are some schools which did not have enough devices such as laptop or computer for all students. So not every student will get a chance to learn perfectly in this digital era. So if the students can participate in the classroom, the teachers will face problem to deliver his teaching and make sure that their students are not left behind. For example, this is the news about 52% of students in Sabah have no internet access gadgets for online learning by Focus Malaysia. According to Dr. Misdurin Radin, who is Sabah Education Director, lack of internet access and gadgets such as smartphones among students there from the state's rural and interior areas pose a challenge to the learning sessions. Based on accumulated data, 98% of teachers in Sabah are prepared to conduct online learning because they are fully equipped with Wi-Fi, internet data and gadgets during the session. But unfortunately, about 52% of the students in the state do not have access to the internet and smartphones, computer or mobile gadgets that are needed to participate in the session scheduled by the teachers. So we can see that the teachers there are having problem to ensure their students participate in learning session, and it is challenge for the teachers there to arrange a schedule for the affected students.
Alright, now we move to the next challenges that teachers have to face in the digital era, which is difficulties to achieve effective learning. So as we know, effective learning describes methods of teaching and learning that actively involve students in their own learning and personal development. So in order to achieve effective learning, teachers should be able to communicate well with their students and make sure that they are fully cooperate in the classroom activities. But I'm sure it is easier said than done. Most of the teachers are having difficulties to achieve the effective learning in their online classroom. Why? Alright, it is maybe because the teachers have less confidence communicating in the online environment, as most of the time they use online platforms only for social interactions. Some teachers are having hard time to express themselves through the online classroom due to the lack of participation of students. So when we say communication, it means that the teacher's ability to express themselves through writing, video, audio, conducting activities, synchronous or asynchronous lesson, and how a teacher use the available online applications such as Google Classroom or social media platforms such as WhatsApp or Telegram for effective communication online. But there are some teachers that encounter challenges in asking their own students to do their tasks or homeworks, whereas for some other teachers, they are having problem in gathering all students in a WhatsApp group because there is lack of parental support and cooperation of their students itself. And not only that, it can be incredibly frustrating, for a teacher when parents don't support their efforts to educate the children. Ideally, a partnership exists between school and home with both parties. They work together, school, teachers and the parents, they work together to provide the best learning experience for the students, for the children. However, there are some parents who don't follow through with their responsibility. It can bring a negative impact on the class. So research has proven that children whose parents make education a high priority and stay consistently involved may be successful academically. Just a simple thing parents can do: ensure the students eat well, get enough sleep, study, complete their homework, and prepare for the school. It's just a few basic things that parents are expected to do for their children. Other than that, it is a big challenge for the teachers also when some of them are lack in remote teaching skills. It means that the teachers are lack in teaching skills because of their they don't know much about the digital technology, the digital skills. They may not have enough knowledge to use the variety of tools provided online to capture the students' interest. They might be using monotone voice all the time, or just giving the lecture straightforwardly, or maybe too serious, which makes the student feel bored most of the time. So it's just the same as class as face-to-face class, but the difference during online class is the difference between online learning is the teachers cannot observe their students most of the time, as some of them tend to shut their camera off, and hiding behind their laptop, or some of them maybe are not even the class at all. They might be pretending to lose internet connection, or having not enough gadgets and all. So as you can see here, teachers' lack of creativity in creating a fun learning activities during online class, or maybe they rarely smile, or they rarely seem excited to be there. They typically make no connection with the students, and the students will eventually become inactive, which lead them to be easily distracted by, when the students are at home, they will be easily distracted by games, social medias, and chatting with their friends during the online class. So before the school closure, in traditional face-to-face class, teachers and students were able to interact physically and use the expressions to communicate their emotions. But now, some teachers are having difficult times because they cannot look up their students' facial expression and behavior or body movement. It is a challenge for the teachers to know whether or not the students understood the content matter or enjoyed the class. As traditionally, before in the face-to-face class, observation is one of the most common method used by teachers in doing reflection. So with that being said, the aspect including less confidence in communication, lack of parental support, and teachers' creativity and knowledge, all of them make it difficult for the teachers to make sure that they achieve the effective learning as it's supposed to be.
Other challenge faced by the teachers in this digital era is poor academic performance by their students. Okay, in this digital era, teachers will face several challenges such as unable to complete syllabus within time, which will result in poor academic performance. This is because teaching in digital era make teachers to teach in an online platform. So, some technical problems such as low internet connection, whether it is by teachers or students, will delay the time of teaching sessions. Not just that, some students might have difficulties in understanding since they are learning online. So it will also delay the time for teachers to explain it again to the students. Other than that, poor academic performance tends to happen because teachers tend to focus on theory rather than practice. The reason for this is because theoretical lectures are considerably easier to implement in an online learning environment than practical lectures. So it is not suitable for some subjects which need practical practice in online learning. After all, without face-to-face communication and physical classroom to use as a workshop, implementing practical project in an online course requires significantly more prior learning than theoretical learning. So it will be a problem for teachers to do the practical activities in this digital era. As a result, the students will not have enough knowledge or no skills are gained because of learning online in this digital era. The lack of experience in conducting, applying, and doing practical skills by the students will result in their poor academic performance. Next, the teachers are having difficulties, and it is a challenge for teachers because they are pressured to prepare students for exams. As we all know, teachers cannot observe the students directly because with learning online, students are at their own pace at home. So the teachers will have problem in preparing their students to succeed in an exam. And maybe if the teachers give materials or exercise, the teacher will not know if the students did not do their exercise. So it is also will result in weak academic performance by the students. other than that, students only have limited time to answer the exam's question, because if we give many hours to students, they will possibly have enough time to Google it or search it online. So with the online learning and online exam, students are given only limited time, but this will affect the students with slow internet connection, because maybe they might get an issue to submit and read or to answer their exam. So other than that, students are lack of motivation. Okay, this one is will affect their mental health, because we all know that if online learning is not suitable for all students, because some might have trouble with internet connection, Wi-Fi, gadgets, or not conducive environment. So if the students cannot catch up or having another trouble, their motivation to study will decrease, and they will not have enough motivation to study and follow the learning sessions. Okay, lastly, it will be a challenge for teachers to handle the students who are lack of motivation, because we cannot control the student. Teachers only can just give motivation or make the learning session enjoy, but if the students choose not to motivate themselves, it will be a problem to the teacher. And lastly, the problem to the teacher is also teacher have to face the challenge of plagiarism by the students. Okay, as we all know, in this digital era, examinations are conducted online, so students will tend to doing plagiarism, which searching the answer in internet and or ask a third party to answer the examination for them. And this is also happen because teachers cannot observe and cannot observe the students directly because they are at their home. So plagiarism will happen, and it will challenge the teachers to overcome students' plagiarism. It also will be a challenge for teachers because students tend to not switching off their camera while exam and not on it, so the teachers cannot see directly what the students are doing, whether they are sleeping or someone to help them, or search online and search answer online in internet, Google, or anything else.
All across the country, students are facing unprecedented challenges.
We're all really struggling.
Basically, it sucks.
I'm definitely less interested.
We've been following 16 students since the first day of school, and they echo what was found in our massive national survey.
I've never felt so much stress in one school year. Like, I wish things could go back to the way they were, like just going to school every day.
The study surveyed 75,000 students from 2018 to 2020, and in the fall of 2020 alone, found that over 56% of students said their stress related to school increased compared to the time before coronavirus.
I definitely feel very stressed. This year has been super hard. There's been a lot of nights where I have cried because of the things that I didn't get to do as a senior. So I'm definitely less emotionally stable than I have been my whole high school career.
This semester, I probably get around 4 to 5 hours of sleep. And then compared to last semester, I was getting 10 to 11 probably.
I do remember having a couple of breakdowns. And I was texting my friends Why am I having so many mental breakdowns? Online school is giving me more stress than regular school did.
In October, we saw that in our student in Chicago. Allegra went from frustration with online glitches
The whole thing would just like kick me out.
to a near meltdown.
I don't understand, and I can't ask teachers for help.
And looking back now, what was your lowest moment of the school year so far?
It would be that time I cried over my physics project. At that point, I was like, this online is not going to work.
The study also found 41% said their effort toward learning decreased.
My attention definitely decreased.
I'm still surprised at how much online's affecting me.
That was John in Pennsylvania last December. Now he says he's constantly distracted.
Snowblowers, dogs barking, parents going in and out, and it really can mess with me.
Okay, so based on the video that I played just now, it was about struggles of online learning that were shared by some students. We could hear that most of them share about their bad mental health condition because of online education. According to the students, they are experiencing stress, breakdown, and mentally drained. We could say that there are various reasons of it. It might be they have problem with internet connection, cannot catch up during lessons, or got no support from teachers and friends since they are learning at home. Okay, there is also a student who said that his effort towards learning decreased and he became unmotivated and uninterested to study. These situations surely worry their teachers and will result in poor academic performance. Teachers will face challenge to lift again the students' motivation and interest in study. If their students become unmotivated, they would not focus in the learnings and in the learning sessions. So it is also a challenge for teachers to find a way to handle the unmotivated and stressed student and find a way to attract their attention to study and make the learning session fun and enjoyable for students, especially for students which did not have good mental health.
So we have come to the conclusion. Although the task of technology integration presents significant challenges to the teachers, exciting new educational technology are increasingly available that offer teachers many ways to present materials and contents to the students. However, technology cannot replace teachers, and teachers' role still holds relevance. Though the teacher's role need a number of transition with the advent of ICT. In this being said, teachers should have the willpower, determination, and they have to strive and work more to positive approach towards becoming techno-friendly themselves. In the future, more studies should be given on management strategies and policies to address the barriers faced by teachers in using the ICT tools in teaching and learning. You know, if the barriers faced by the teachers can be overcome, it is a step forward to enhance our students' learning outcomes. Fair use of ICT would lead to effective transition to the technology, to the knowledge society in the globalized world, and would also create better teaching and learning environment to the society. With that being said, we have completed our presentation on issue faced by teachers in the 21st century learning for TSLB3193 MULTILITERACIES. Thank you so much.